look like that old Halloween thing where the lady's getting struck by lightning.
You should have seen it before I fucking shaved. I shaved off. I had the freaking beard. I hadn't shaved since the last time you and I.
You look like a budget Jeff Bagwell. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Welcome to the Ball 9 Roundhouse, Boston Red Sox edition. With me today, I've got my buddies. Over here, we got Dan Tiant. Down there, we got Chris Rolandelli. And last but not least, suck a bag of dicks, Kaiser.
Fuck off, Vitali.
Thank you. So,
Go ahead.
all right. So we're going to start off with a touchy subject for some Boston Red Sox fans, the departure of number 51, Marcus Lynn Mookie Betts. Kaiser, how do you feel about that?
Oh, Vitali. You know how I feel about this.
Do I?
I think you do. We've had a couple of conversations about it. But really, what choice did the Red Sox really have? The guy has made it perfectly clear that he is going to walk and he wants to test free agency. You could, they said what, $30 million a year? And he's like, no, I want 35.
Yeah,
it's
he
like,
wanted 35.
He wanted 35, but I think the Red Sox came in at 30, which who the hell in their right mind turns down $30 million like for a year to play fucking ball?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd take it, and I obviously, but I mean, the guy wants to test free agency, but I think he came back and bit him in the ass. I mean, free agency.
Well, he's not getting it this year.
He's not going to get it this year. No. And if you think about it, every day that we don't play baseball, I've said it to all of you guys, every day that they're not playing baseball, that deal just looks better and better and better for the Red Sox. It does. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. I mean, you're not getting anything out of Betts now. We would have been paying him $20 million, or we still would have been over the luxury tax. So we were getting fined, all the draft picks and the international slot money, and you're getting nailed on, the luxury tax thing anyway. So why not? You got to reset. If this is what it costs, it's what it costs. There's no other way to do it. I mean, you weren't going to be able to get rid of Pedroia, who's got dead money sitting there. I mean, he's sitting there. I mean, he's rehabbing. Everyone loves him. He's the heart and soul of that team, even when he's not on the field. So I get it. But, there was no other way to do it. And, they took Price off the hands. Dan, I know you love David Price, but he just wasn't a fit in Boston, man. He just really wasn't. You can't. The shit that he was doing was fine. But back to Betts, there was no other way. There was absolutely no other way. And everyone saw it coming. And I feel bad for High and Bloom for this. This is your first winter in Boston, and that's what you have to do? You got to get rid of Mookie Betts? Do you think he really wanted to do that? No, I don't think he wanted to do it.
All right.
Didn't have any choice.
Dan, what do you think about this?
It's business. Honestly, you know what? For me, obviously, and look, I'm on this side as a representative, and you do want to get them, their money. I do have an issue with some of these contracts. I think they're outrageous, and that's weird to hear from somebody who does representation. And I get that all the time, but I'm also realistic about these things. I just think that when is enough with money? You field 9 guys on that field. It's a team effort. There's individual stats to it. You have your individual play, but if the team their chemistry isn't right, they're not going to win. And I've said it time in and time out. So you look at these guys, perfect example. Let's go with Bryce Harper.
Oh.
You leave the Nationals, go to Philly, and now the Nationals win the World Series. And you see that a lot.
It's addition by subtraction.
What is it? Is it better to just say, all right, we're going to lose this marquee player because he really is, he's not well liked, or, he doesn't fit with this plan. Let's go another route. And next thing you know, you win. One player doesn't make a team. I've always said that. I love Mookie. I wanted him to stay. If he feels that $35 million is worth the move, then that's on him and his agent and his family. They want to pay him. It's like my dad says, if they're going to pay me that, I'm going to run to the bank.
Yeah.
And it's not, he doesn't have a gun to anybody's head saying, hey, pay me $35 million. The team's going to offer him that, and he's going to take it. He's going to take it. With Boston fans, I've always said this. If you show any type of love, loyalty to the city of Boston and to New England, you can basically go to any place in that area and not even have to open up your wallet. They're blue-collar people. They love their sports. And if they see you as an athlete show love for their community, you can do whatever the hell you want. That's within the, legal stuff. But, I see a perfect example. I see it with my dad. I mean, he left Boston in 78, after 78.
Yep. And went to the Yankees.
Places. Shut up, Vitali.
And
thank you for that, by the way.
He's still well loved by everywhere he goes. You see it with David Ortiz. You see it with these guys when they show that kind of loyalty and love for their hometown city. You can do no wrong, and that goes for all sports in Boston. I think Boston is one of the few cities that really stands by. They can be very critical. They can be tough. They can be really harsh. But when they love you, they'll do anything for you.
That sounds about right. Rolly, what do you think about Mookie right now? I know you miss him.
I do, man. But the other side, I'm not as passionate about as Kaiser is. I call Kaiser the scout because that he will come in and talk to me, and he'll be like, "Hey, dude, have you ever heard of Philly Felchkin?" And I'm like, "No."
Durbin Feltman, dude. Durbin Feltman.
He's like, single A right now. He's going to be a hot shot here in a couple of years, I guarantee.
He does.
I am dude, it's the future. It's the future.
Yeah, okay.
I get those texts. Have you heard of so-and-so? I'm like, aren't you in this business? I'm like, what are you talking about?
I'll Google the guy's.
Kid's 9 years old.
I'll Google the guy's name and text Kaiser. Yeah, he looks good. Just so he won't stop texting me about it. Because personally,
he's playing in the Dorchester.
I can
coming up.
Hey, the kids down at Foley Field are looking wicked hot this year. I'm a firm believer in you have to do what's best for you and your family.
Yeah.
If Mookie could go somewhere and get $5 extra million a year, it's his decision. I'm a bartender, for crying out loud. If someone's offering me an extra $6 an hour down the street, I might go. You don't know. It's not. There's no handbook, and you don't know what their families are telling them or their friends or what they're preparing for. Who knows? I mean, he secretly might have not liked it. You don't know.
Yeah.
Look, the offers were made.
Yeah.
The offers were made. They were presented to him, and he didn't take them. The writing's on the wall. That to me tells me he didn't want to be there.
It's not like the Sox kicked him to the curb. I mean, they made him a legit offer.
They made their offer.
Several legit offers.
Yeah, I was gonna say they didn't lowball him, man. They didn't lowball him by any means. So I'm curious to see what happens.
Would have hamstrung him for years.
Well, and how many? Did they finally stop paying Rusney Castillo?
No, the last year.
Still?
Last year, yeah.
But it's not on. But it's not on the salary because he cleared waiver and he's down in the minors. His salary doesn't count.
Oh, so it doesn't. Okay. But
No,
are you
it's not
still paying
fair.
Sandoval?
That I think we are.
The Dombrowski reign of terror never ends, man.
That was a bad
that's just
sign,
what he
man.
does.
That was just a bad. That was a bad move.
That was not a good move. That was not a good move.
He just shook down John Henry for money and just put it in a barrel and burns it.
You want a championship? I'll get you a ring.
People call that one of the biggest robberies in baseball right now.
Oh yeah, that was rough.
Man.
But again, these guys, the money that's out there, it's being offered to them. They offer you an amount. You counter, you accept it, and if you counter and they say, okay, we'll give you this and it's more, you're not forcing them. So they're gonna pay.
But now here's a question for you, Dan. Now you've said that you think the salaries are outrageous for these guys. Well, the money coming into baseball is ridiculous. And I'd rather have the players be getting this money than let's just say
I
that.
agree. And I don't.
I think it'd be great. I think it'd be great personally if they'd lower ticket prices a little bit. I mean, dude,
sorry.
Maybe you don't need quite as much money for the owners.
If you think about it, not a lot of the players are making those high numbers. Majority of them aren't.
Yep.
No, of course, but if the money's there, if their talents are bringing in $1 trillion for the sport across the board,
they're making that money back immediately with merchandising and everything. So it's not really it's outrageous. I just look at it because me personally, I'm just a low key kind of guy. I don't
know.
The way you come up into St. Augustine, flashing cash, shot on the town. I didn't think that.
I just so I don't. To me, I just don't. I'm not used to it. I'm really not. But it's what we deal with, but again, there isn't many guys that are making those salaries.
That's true.
Overall, it's actually a lot lower.
Well, I mean, and as the game skews younger, you get a lot more guys on these entry contracts. These rookie deals that are like 5.
I think there's a lot of things. I think there's a lot of things MLB could do better. Where even with these salaries, look, they're making money hand over fist. Even with these salaries that some of these guys are getting. You're right. Ticket prices, concession stands. I think they should be a little bit lower. What we're missing out in baseball, and I was having this conversation yesterday with a front office guy, a friend of mine, with another organization. We're missing the Americana side of it, middle America. Baseball's gotten, and all sports have gotten corporate. The days of going and taking your family are long gone, unless you're rolling in the dough that you can take a family of 5. Let's be honest.
Or you got to go to a minor league game.
It's all corporate. It's, you take your best clients, you take your best managers. So they'll front the money. And that's why I love minor league baseball. You see, and I think Major League needs to kind of go a little bit back into that, and they're not, because for them, it's the money they're making, what's coming in, what are their revenues, TV revenues, merchandising, this and that. And it's taken away from what the game is. It really has.
It's true.
And
and on the same hand, you got to think 1,000 minor leaguers just got cut today.
Yeah.
Thanks for reminding me.
Well, I don't know. I didn't ask him.
I'm
asking you.
Well, I think Pedroia would make a killer coach.
No.
He's not asking.
I don't know about that.
I think he would.
No. I think, dude, Veritek would be he would just
Veritek to me would be great.
Veritek would be insane. Yeah.
I think it would be perfect.
I thought Pedroia would make a good
look,
coach.
I've said it before, and I'll stand by it now. I believe catchers make the best fucking managers. They just do.
Because they're leaders. They're natural leaders.
And you have to know every aspect of the game.
Yeah.
I think the fans would love it. I think everyone would love to see him come back. And I think it would whip those boys into shape quicker than Ron Rennecke's going to do.
Ron Rennecke's he's a puppet. He's whatever he is.
But do you think that's where they're going to try to go because of Hein Bloom now? Do you think they're just going to try and get just a guy to sit there, kind of like what the Yankees did with fucking Aaron Boone, a guy who's going to listen to the guys in a tunnel with the computers and just kind of go with the analytics and not fucking manage with his gut and not manage a manager should.
I think he's a capable manager. I mean, he's managed.
Rennecke, or did you say Jeremy Roenick? Because that would be funny too.
No, I was thinking Roenick for some reason. Rennecke, yeah, no, I think that he can be a good coach. I mean, he has been in the past. He managed the Brewers for years.
Oh, dude, this is actually kind of funny. This morning, when I woke up at like fucking 6 o'clock this morning, which I never, ever, ever do, because I had to interview Parker at like 9:30, 10. And I'm all fucking nervous. whatever. You know, I mean, it's weird, man. I was like, no, it was the first one that I was ever fucking nervous about. I was like, that dude still scares the shit out of me. I mean, the dude fucking 68 years old with fucking Parkinson's disease. So I was still terrified of fucking interviewing him. And the motherfucker, you know that shirt? Like, I think I've showed Kaiser. I think I've showed you, and we were gonna make one and sell them. Like, it's that classic photo of Dave Parker where it just says he's wearing like the Walt Clyde Frazier fucking pimp hat. It says, if you hear any noise, it's just me and the boys bopping. Motherfucker wore the shirt today. I was like, yes, that's awesome. I was like, that's fantastic. His phone rang in the middle of it, and it's like the fucking it's Sly and the Family Stone, his ringtone.
Nice.
So he's going, yeah. So I'm like, I like that ringtone, Mr. Parker. And he's like, yeah, that's Sly and the Family Stone. You know anything about that? I'm like, Mr. Parker, I'm a bass player. Larry Graham was a bad man. He's like, all right, you know, okay, yeah, that's cool. So it was cool, man. It was a little sad, man, because like you could tell it's like he only had like a little short amount of time when he was feeling good to do it, you know, and like to see a guy that was that fucking intimidating. And
he was one of the more intimidating guys out there, man.
Think about it. 1975, he's 6'5", 6'6", 240, all muscle, swinging a sledgehammer in the on-deck circle, and especially when he broke his jaw and came in 78. He broke his jaw, and he came back like a week later wearing a fucking hockey mask that's painted Pirates colors under his helmet, and he's just fucking swinging a sledgehammer in the on-deck circle. I'm like, that's some intimidating shit, you know? And, you know, and so then he told me, which I thought was funny, he's like, but then I couldn't get my vision that good through that thing. So I had, you know, my old friend Terry Bradshaw gave me one of his face masks from his football helmet, and he had it bolted onto his batting helmet. So he wore that. And I'm like, that's just insane, man. I was like, it's crazy. It was strange.
And Oakland was the Bash Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
But they had Dave Henderson, they had Parker, they had McGuire, Canseco, Lansford was there.
Yeah. Ricky Henderson was on that team too.
Ricky Henderson was on that team, and I'm like, Dad, we got to go. And my dad used to hate taking me to Fenway because back then I just want autographs. Even like Wade Boggs, when I first saw Wade Boggs, he's like, "What do you?" I said, I came with like a stack this big of baseball cards. My dad's like, "He's not gonna sign them." I said, "No, at least one." He sat there and signed every single card. My dad
Seriously?
was shocked that Boggs did that. But when it came to Oakland, we went in, and now for you to be in the locker room, you have to be somebody important. You can't just be in there.
Yeah.
So they see a kid in there. They know that I belong to somebody.
You were just wandering around like
yeah.
Nice.
And so I walk in, and this is, I think I was a freshman in high school. I don't even remember anymore, but I'm still like little. And here's these monsters, and freaking McGuire, Canseco, and they're just beasts. Parker, and I go up with my cards, and I'm like starting to stutter. I'm looking up. I'm like, Jesus, this is intimidating. McGuire was awesome. McGuire just took the cards, shook my hand. How are you? Blah blah blah. Henderson, Ricky was,
Oh, he's Ricky. He's Ricky Henderson.
Yeah, he is. Hendu was cool, but when I was walking up to Canseco, that dude just turned around and gave me this look of just death. Don't come near me.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I turned right around and went back to my dad because he was talking to one of the coaches. And he's like, "Oh, did you?" He's like, "Oh, did you?" I said, "Yeah, no, I'm not going up today."
Yeah, fuck that.
I go, you want to come with me? My dad's like, "I'm busy talking to one of the," I forget who the coach was at the time. So he goes, "All right, I'll go with you." And we came back, and Canseco did that same look to Dad. And he's Cuban. He should have known better.
Yeah, but that's true. Actually,
when he did that look. Parker was in his locker room and saw it. And I'll never forget it, but Parker just yelled at Canseco. He's like, "Dude," he goes, "do you know who that is?" He goes, "You should be kissing that man's feet and ass because that right there is the man. And he's like, what? And he goes, once he realized, and he just realized that it was Dad.
Yeah.
Oh, he was like,
Of course.
it was
Yeah,
totally
he
different.
tried to. Yeah.
Totally different. Took the pictures, shook hands, and he apologized. Like, sometimes you get it. These guys, that's their own private time, and I get it. As I've gotten older, I get it. That's their private time. They just want to chill. They don't want a freaking kid coming in there asking for art or anybody. But it was a very impactful moment seeing not only the respect that Dad got from players and teammates and all that, but I was like, yeah, that's pretty badass.
No, that was badass. I mean, it's funny. I mean, and Parker actually said he's like, that was the best team he ever played on.
Yeah,
that's what he told me today. And he's played on some great fucking teams. I mean, like the We Are Family Pirates. I mean, the Reds teams were not so great. They were young when he joined, but even when he played that 1 year in Milwaukee, I think they just finished short of the playoffs. I mean, but Parker said, I asked him about. I was like, what was it like going in there when you had like a young McGuire, a young Canseco, and then Ricky? And then he just talked about Ricky. He's like, I took Ricky aside because he got there later in the year. He's like, I took Ricky aside, and I in front of everybody, I told him, Ricky, this ain't the team to do it. You leave your ego at the door. Yep. We all leave our egos at the door here. Yep. And he said, and then Ricky, and imagine Dave Parker looking down at fucking Ricky Henderson. I don't give a shit how big Ricky Henderson's ego is. You're listening to Dave Parker.
Who was it?
Oh. Hey, Mr. Tiant.
Hold on. Say hi. Well, you can't see me.
Hey, hey, Mr. Tiant. How are you, sir?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing good. We're talking about pitching.
Yeah.
You want to talk about some pitching?
Pitching.
You look at this, and I was watching the game where Dad was pitching. It was Nolan Ryan was going for another no-hitter, and he was with the Angels, and Dad was with the Yankees. And I got to tell you, it was rough for me to watch because my dad was struggling this game.
Oh man!
They lost. What did you lose? 6-2. I think he lost 6-2 to Nolan. 6-1 to Nolan Ryan.
It was 79, 80.
It was Munson? Munson was catching, right? So 79.
Yeah.
79.
Oh wow!
But every inning, my dad. He pitched, I think, the complete game or 8 innings. 8 innings, I think it was. Yeah. But he was struggling. But he was able to get outs. And when Billy Martin would come out and talk to him, he had faith in him that he would get out of the inning.
Yeah.
You see? And the game really didn't break out till I think the 7th inning or something like that. It was still like 1-0 or 2-0 or something like that. They don't teach pitchers that anymore.
Nope.
Once you go and you walk one hitter and you might get behind on the second hitter, we're going to just yank you.
Yeah, pull the hook.
So these players don't know how to overcome those obstacles.
I know.
It makes them softer. It really does make them softer.
Yeah.
And do you think that starts in like Little League?
I do. I think it does now.
Yeah. Especially like with all these.
It does because they don't want to hurt you.
They don't want to hurt your feelings.
Yeah,
they don't want their kid to get hit too much or.
Listen, my daughter. I will tell you this: my daughter is going to watch the 10 episodes of Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I told her this today because we went out to the field today to play catch and hit. I said, and she was watching the second last episode. I go, I want you to watch this. Because I want you to watch why this guy was the greatest basketball player to ever live.
Yeah.
He didn't take anybody's bullshit. He really.
I got to send it to Rocco. Sorry.
To him, this was, I'm the best, and this is why I'm the best. And if you can't handle it, then you shouldn't even be in this league. And that's the way that this needs to be taught to everybody. Not everybody wins. Not everybody gets a trophy. You're not meant to play baseball. You're not meant to play baseball.
Yeah, I remember.
I get it. You want to play, that's nice. But if you really aren't meant to play the game and you're not talented enough, then find something else.
Yeah.
And they don't do that anymore. Everybody knows how to win.
And that's and honestly, I mean, honestly, when I spoke to Mr. Tiant, when I spoke to you the other day, you told me that you have to show your manager that you have the confidence and that you can get out of that situation. And these guys don't do it now. They just don't do it now. And it's weird. It's sad. It's not fun to watch. It's not fun to watch these guys just come throw fastballs. It's not fun to come watch a guy throw just fastballs, 102, 101. That's it. One's high, one's low. It's not pitching.
The problem is that they don't throw a strike.
Yeah.
You know the time.
Yeah, they don't know how to throw strikes.
See, the problem, one thing about pitching is, okay, it doesn't like a player.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I learned earlier in my career. You have to show the manager what you can do.
Yeah.
And they have to get in, that's how they're going to get confident in you.
Yeah.
And every time you get in position tough, they let you there. They don't take you out because they know you can do the job, see? And the guy know, because they got this guy out, or maybe even not, work, becoming another pitch. You know, it's a bunch of crap. I don't like it. I don't like it what I see. I never pitch it that way. I think all the guys play in my time never do that. We grow up tough. We don't grow up like look in the dugout and see what happened. No, you have to go there and pitching. You get paid, you pitching.
That's right.
You get paid, you play. You don't like it, well, get out. Like he said, get out of there. Don't play no more.
I love it.
Pitching mean, even close. And they're looking at you like they want to kill you. My time, you're looking at me, I hit you again. Which is what we used to do. You got a home run, you got hit a home run, he even looking at you. You running with your head down. Because they know if they come out and looking at us when they're running and shit, when he coming back, shit, we send it to a hospital. I tell you what, I never try to hit anybody in the head. I think that's a chicken. It's the right thing to do.
Oh yeah,
That's cool.
You can say whatever you want on this one, Mr. Young. That's fine.
You know, I think it's a bad thing when you're trying to hit somebody in the head because the hitter is in the same boat when you are. You're trying to play, you're trying to support your family, you're trying to make your money. You don't throw nobody here, but you can throw chill music, like let it smell in the sing of the ball. Nothing wrong with that. The only thing is, I don't want to let you go over there and hit my best pitcher, but you don't have no chance. That's the problem today. Ball one, ball two. Every time you're looking at it, 3-2, 2-0, 3-0, and then they go and throw the ball right in my play. That's why they hit the ball 500 feet.
Yeah, because they're always behind. They're always behind in the count.
But he's got a good point too. This gets back to the thing. You can't pitch inside anymore.
No, you're not allowed.
Inside of the plate's totally taken away. I mean, you just don't get it anymore.
Well, this is why the reason. Like I just said, they throw a guy high. Hey, you don't have to do that. See, that's what they try to avoid those. The pitcher throw somebody here and here. So you can pitch it in. The umpire, when you start in the game, you're going to demand what do you want to do. You like it or not. And the umpire see those things. Yeah, he like to pitch him inside. You know, you don't throw a ball behind somebody or over the head, then you got problems.
Yeah.
That's what they do. You know, some of the guys so idiot. I don't know what they do, but they go. I tell you, the guy hit a home run, and then this guy, they hit it. Trying to hit him in the head. Why? You know, You know, had nothing to do with the home run you throw.
Yeah.
You
Hey, he made a bad pitch.
mistake. You make a mistake, they're gonna hit you.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you throw 200 miles per hour. They set it for that, and they're gonna hit you, especially when you're behind. And then what you say, you look in the game now. The guy used to hit in 250, now hitting 350. Right? Because every time they go and look in the picture, 3 ball no strike, 2 ball no strike. Then they throw right in the middle of the plate, like a room server. Go and take it. They take it right. And that's why sometimes for me, it's hard to see the game. I get so mad because like at home, I'm watching the game till my wife will kick me out of the house. Yeah, when I get a heart attack. I get mad with the way they do things. You want to be a good pitcher, you have to use your brains.
Yeah.
And I tell you that that's the only way you're going to get the guys have a more ability than you have.
Yeah.
Have to use your brain. Because you're never going to get them out. You're being a pitcher, you're never going to be it. You know, then how you do, you have to learn it. Moving the ball around, in and out, up and down, change speed. And you're looking at it. Who is the best, the guy who win now? The best pitcher with that. 2 from Washington, I think a 2 in the man, 2 from Dodgers, the right hand and the left hand, about 7, 8 guys.
Yeah.
They're winning, right? Because they know how to pitch. That's a simple. I don't care. I tell you what, you tell some of those guys. When you throw 10 pitches in the outside corner, you don't have to be on the back. You can be here. That's what I used to do, here. And I tell you, 90% they can do that. Because they know how to control. It's crazy what they do. You know? So why? Because they don't throw enough, beginning with it.
Yep.
You know, and you have the more you throw, the more you bring your haters in the game. You learn it more and quicker. So they go actually, like I say, take 5 days to pitch sometimes, maybe 6 sometimes, depending on the rain.
Yeah, you told me this the other day.
Now what happened? If you go ahead and pitch in 3 innings, are you telling me you're gonna wait 5 days? And then next time you have to 5 more days to pitch, maybe we pitch 1 inning. But what do you feel between the year? You are the champ. You are inside the champ. That's why they get hurt all the time. But they don't throw enough. And the more you throw, the stronger you are going to get. And quicker you're going to learn it, the control. Because that's what makes a pitcher. Good pitcher, you already have a good control. They know. The thing is, oh, he threw 100, he threw 110. So what? How many hours he got? You know, I don't care how you throw. You can throw 500. How many hours you get? 1, 2, 3, 5? You know, good day. And that's the problem. You know, I can tell them my son. You're looking at all the relievers and all that stuff. You have a guy, he's a specialist to pitch in left-handed.
Yeah, only lefty.
They're specialist to pitch in left-handed. Every time they're coming in, walk, hit the guy, taking. What kind of job you have? It's no job. You know, I believe in you can, you know, I mean, I don't want to say you're going to pitch in good all the time. Nobody's that good. But you want to tell me that's your job. And you want to tell me you can pitch in 1 hit and get them out? That's crazy. You know, and that's the problem. Like he said in the beginning, like I told you too.
Yeah.
You got 1 walk or 1 hit, you take it out of the game.
Yeah, you're out. You're gone.
You're confident out of the kid. See, you're losing confidence. Because every time you go pitching, that's what you got in your mind. Before you get somebody out. So if I walk on 1 more hit, they're going to take me out. See? And that's exactly what you do. Exactly what you do. And you have to give it confidence, but on the other side, don't get me wrong, you have to, you have to get the manager confident in you. He know he can leave you in there and you're gonna come back. See, I'm not saying every day, every time, but maybe 70% what you're gonna do, you're gonna do a good job. You're gonna come back and holding the other guy, but they don't do that. And I said, that's a crazy thing. I'm watching the game, and I still love the game. Don't get me wrong, but that's what I know, what I do all my life. But sometimes hard to watch it because it's something you don't see. You know the way you play the game. You know what I mean?
It's a different game.
No,
It's really hard to watch.
For me,
Different game.
and you can tell that all these guys play in my time, little bit later my time, or before my time. But they're gonna tell you, they're gonna tell you the same thing. They don't like it, they don't want it, they don't want to see the game no more. Bored. You're taking 5.5 hours, 4 hours. And to play 9 innings, you're taking 3.5, 4 hours. Pitching, and 9 innings, we throw 85 pitch. Look at Maddox. 1 hour.
Yeah, Maddox, it was always 89 pitches, complete game, out. Hour and a half.
Hour 45.
Yep, hour and a half, done.
You don't throw 90 miles. What they tell you? The other
Well,
one,
I mean, sorry, Mr. Tiant. But look at every Yankees Red Sox game now. 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, it's brutal.
Tough to
Every
watch.
game. Every time.
It's tough to watch baseball today.
but
And the
that's
thing
why,
is,
but you know why? That's the problem because too many change.
Yeah.
This year is supposed to be different. This year, they put in the reliever, they had to pitch in 3 innings. I mean, 3 innings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before you pitch in 1 inning, you out. No, now, this year is supposed, that's the rule this year.
The 3 hitters, yeah. 3 hitters or end the inning. Yeah.
Yeah, so
but
that's
see,
what-
here's my thing. You got 3 hitters. You go full count on 2 of those hitters.
Yeah.
What's the big deal?
Yeah.
That's not the solution to it.
No, it's
And,
I don't think it's a great idea.
I went to a workout today with a lot of guys that we have that are college and pros. And one of the second kid that pitched was, he's a young kid. He's in college. But every pitch he threw was here to here.
Really?
Gosh, that's what they do.
Awful.
Just
But
fastballs,
he's throwing 92. I think he's a freshman in college. He's throwing 92. But you saw the pros that were there, or former pros, they would turn around and be like, what is this shit? And whether the kid's a good kid or not, but they're like, I can't come in here as a professional and take batting practice off a kid that can't find the freaking strike zone.
Yeah.
Maybe he
Because you run the risk of getting hit.
Yeah. Can't do that.
You can't get your timing down. You can't actually swing because what are you going to swing at? So what's the benefit of you as a hitter to see a kid throw fastballs that go from here to here? And it made no sense. They're not teaching these kids location anymore.
No.
And so is it smart to say, let's put it, like I said earlier, put a timer, three hitters, and then you're out? No. You got to go deeper into it and let these kids, teach these kids how to actually pitch.
These kids want to learn how to pitch, though?
Get them targets. You know what? Here's the thing. They do want to learn. I think they do want to learn, but they're being taught by the wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bottom line.
That's true.
Now,
Well,
if I'm not-
I mean, you have these guys. I mean, and it's funny. I mean, like the Yankees finally parted ways with Larry Rothschild. I mean, any pitcher I've ever asked, they love Larry Rothschild. He was a good pitching coach. some guys didn't get it done on the Yankees. They went with some guy who's a computer guy, Matt Blake. And nobody knows who he is. He's like one of those pitching ninja guys. He's about spin rate and these things that don't teach you how to pitch. They don't. And this is what actually, Mr. Tiant, this is what I spoke to you about. These guys that get in front of a computer and think that they're, they've never picked up a baseball, but that's who the Yankees pitching coach is now. Is that going to make Garrett Cole a better pitcher? No, it might make his fastball go 1 more mile an hour. Nobody wants that. I'm a Yankee fan. I don't want to see that. I don't care about that. I want a guy. You know who I like on the Yankees? I like Tanaka because he'll pitch. He'll throw little sinkers and little, and he'll hit his spots.
He got some idea. You could watch him. He got some idea. He want to keep the ball down.
Yeah.
The ball all the time. You don't throw us straight.
Yeah.
We're thinking breaking ball and down. They're keeping the ball down.
Yeah, that's huge, keeping the ball down, of course. Yeah. And I wish that, who is the pitching coach? Oh, Greg Maddox's brother, Mike Maddox.
Mike Maddox.
Mike Maddox was a great pitching coach. Sammy Perlazzo, great pitching coach. You don't see these guys anymore. And I'm afraid for the game.
Because they're tired.
Yeah.
You know what? They're tired.
Yeah.
They're tired of the fact that they got to listen to some moron.
I agree.
In here and say, hey, the data on my computer says that his spin rate, he should be throwing a cutter instead of his forcing fastball.
It's not right.
No, it's not right.
It's not a fucking video game.
No, it's not.
It's not a fucking video game.
This is, and look, we're all, we're 40 to 45 here, except for Pop.
Well, I appreciate it, but yeah.
We all grew up on fantasy baseball.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people today. The owners, the GMs are in our age group.
Yeah.
So what do they grow up on? Fantasy baseball.
Yep.
Stats.
Yep.
Stratomatic, CBS.
Stratomatic.
But they figure that, I went undefeated in my football season because I was freaking awesome with stats on my team. I should be a GM. Or, you know what, I've won this league 5 years in a row. I should be a GM.
Yeah.
No, it takes more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
Hey, now, not to play devil's advocate or a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Kaiser. Can you give me 30 seconds? Can you say what you're gonna say? I have to. Leroy's going crazy. I have to let him out to pee. You guys go. I'll come back. You guys
Rhode
go.
Island is neither a road nor an island.
I'll be right back. I kind of have to pee too. I'll be right back.
Oh Jesus!
Keep going though. Go.
You're not like a professional and have like a can underneath your desk for that kind of shit, dude.
That's what you should have. Have a can under your desk.
It's good enough for Rich Eisen. It's good enough for him, dude.
We've only been on here for almost 4 hours.
You got a rap.
Oh, Mr. Tiant. I spoke to Dave Parker today. He says hello.
Oh yeah, oh my God.
Yeah, I told him, I was speaking to you, and I was like, Mr. Tiant, Dan said hello, and he's like, oh man, Louis, we go way back, man. He's a great guy. He's a cool guy. So
He's a good man.
he's a good guy, man. I was glad I got to speak to him. It wasn't very long, but it was cool, man. It was good to hear from him.
No, he got
He's got Parkinson's, yeah. So I only had about 15 minutes with him, but it was cool, man. He was funny. I got him to admit he was the best looking guy in the 1977 All-Star game. So I guess that's good. But,
he's a good people, man.
yeah, he's a good guy. He's a big man.
How many common good buddies? Good.
Did you ever pitch against him?
No.
No, you never had to. Like All-Star game, you never had to.
I was in Pittsburgh, in 81.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't there. I was with him, but Willie started him.
Oh yeah.
Sanguigane.
Manny Sanguillen.
Yeah.
Isla?
Was
Vance Law,
Was Madlock on that team?
Bill Madlock,
Yep.
Omar Moreno,
Omar Moreno.
Tony Pena,
Wow.
Nice.
Oswald Perez, Enrique Romo.
Kurt Bavacqua.
Kurt Bavacqua.
Kurt Bavacqua
Was he really?
Yeah.
Get fish from Dennis Lamp.
I will buy fish from Dennis Lamp.
Go buy a fish from Dennis Lamp.
I've gone down there
Dennis
just to
Lamp's
see him. I have gone down there just to see Dennis Lamp.
Oh, man.
Dennis Lamp is a nice guy. He's a good guy.
Next time I come visit you, Vitali, we're going to go buy fish from Dennis Lamp.
Fine by me.